Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the traditional Dussehra celebrations in Delhi. On this Vijay Dashmi occasion, the Prime Minister declared that the next Ram Navami will be celebrated at the new Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. He claimed some elements are dividing India on the basis of religion, caste and region and urged people to end such evil. The Prime Minister's remarks are being seen as a prelude to the BJP's 2024 campaign, where they are expected to make the Ram Mandir a central plank. Listen in.
अगली रामनवमी पर रामलला के मंदिर में गुंजा हर स्वर पूरे विश्व को हर्षित करने वाला है। भगवान राम की जन्मभूमि पर बन रहा भव्य मंदिर, दिव्य मंदिर, सदियों की प्रतीक्षा के बाद हम भारतीयों के धैर्य को मिली विजय का प्रतीक है। राम मंदिर में भगवान राम के विराजमान के बस कुछ ही महीने बचे हैं। भगवान श्री राम बस आने ही वाले हैं। हमें ध्यान रखना है कि आज रावण का दहन बस एक पुतले का दहन न हो, ये दहन हो हर उस विकृति का जिसके कारण समाज का आपसी सौहार्द बिगड़ता है, उन शक्तियों का जो जातिवाद और क्षेत्रवाद के नाम पर मां भारती को बांटने का प्रयास करती है, उन विचार का जिसमें भारत का विकास नहीं स्वार्थ की सिद्धि निहित है। विजयादशमी का पर्व सिर्फ रावण पर राम की विजय का पर्व नहीं, राष्ट्र की हर बुराई पर राष्ट्रभक्ति की विजय का पर्व बनना चाहिए.
So the Prime Minister using the occasion in a way to invoke Lord Ram. Now this is also of course the day when the traditional Vijay Dashmi rally is held by the RSS. And this time Mohan Bhagwat delivered what could be seen as perhaps his most political address yet. Bhagwat urged people to unite against what he called external and domestic forces that are trying to divide the country, even blamed external factors for the Manipur ethnic clashes, lashed out at left-wing forces. And he said that the people of the country must vote wisely in next year's elections. Take a look at Mohan Bhagwat's political pitch.
Unity in diversity, social harmony. These were the themes in RSS Sarsanchalak Mohan Bhagwat's Vijay Dashmi address. The head of the Sangh Parivar blamed external forces for the ethnic tensions that have gripped Manipur for months now.
बहुत वर्षों से वहां मणिपुरी मैतेई और मणिपुरी कुकी वो साथ में रहते, अचानक कैसे झगड़ा हुआ? सीमा लगत क्षेत्र है वो भारत का, वहां पर ऐसा होना, वहां पर अलगाव की बातें खड़ी होना, वहां पर ऐसे आपस में झगड़े होना, इससे किसका फायदा है? बाहर की शक्तियों का भी फायदा है। बाहरी लोग थे क्या करने वाले? ये हम देखते हैं तो ध्यान में आता है कि इसमें ये हो नहीं रहा है, ये कराया जा रहा है.
The RSS chief lashed out at left-wing forces, accusing them of creating divide in society.
कुछ बातें दुनिया में कुछ लोग हैं, भारत में भी कुछ लोग हैं जो नहीं चाहते कि भारत खड़ा हो, और इसलिए समाज में कैसे विभेद पैदा करना, समाज की सामूहिकता जो निर्माण हुई उसको कैसे तोड़ना, अलगाव और टकराव कैसे पैदा करना. लेकिन 1920 में ही उन्होंने समझा कि मार्क्स में ने जो भविष्यवाणी की वैसा होने वाला नहीं है, तो वैसा होने के नाम पर हमारे हाथ में पूरी दुनिया की पकड़ आ जाए, इसलिए तब से ही उन्होंने अपना उद्योग प्रारंभ किया है। किसी भी राष्ट्र की जनता में ऐसी अनास्था, दिग्भ्रम, परस्पर द्वेष उत्पन्न करने वाली ये जो प्रणाली है ना, अपने यहाँ चाणक्य नीति में उसका नाम है मंत्र विप्लव।
Bhagwat warned against a deteriorating discourse in the country but did not specifically mention hate speech.
आने वाले दिन भी अब चुनाव के दिन है, अभी राज्यों की चुनाव है, आगे लोकसभा का है। चुनाव में तो खूब गाली गलौज चलेगी, प्रचार चलेगा लोगों को इधर से उधर लाने का। उकसावे में, भड़काऊ बातों से भड़ककर उकसावे में आकर नहीं करना है। ठंडे दिमाग से सोचिए कौन अच्छा है, किसने अच्छा काम किया है।
He stressed that devotion to Bharat Mata is the basis for unity. In a speech that lasted 50 minutes, Bhagwat advised citizens to vote wisely and urged countrymen to celebrate at local temples the day Ram Mandir is opened. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's then turn to our face-off tonight. Are the BJP and RSS getting set to play the Ram card once again ahead of the 2024 elections? Is the battle of 2024 going to be, as the BJP and RSS claim, Hindu unity versus caste census politics? That's going to be the big talking point. Joining me now, Dr. Ajay Alok is spokesperson BJP and Mohan Kumar Mangalam is national spokesperson of the Congress. Dr. Ajay Alok, let's get this very clear. From what I gather from the Prime Minister's speech and Mohan Bhagwat's speech, the BJP seems determined that the Ram Mandir, likely to be inaugurated on the 22nd of January, will be part of your political pitch. Is the BJP trying to suggest that the Ram Mandir will unify Hindus versus what you see are the divisive forces pushing for a caste census?
Well, Rajdeep, today, first of all, happy Vijayadashmi to all our fellow countrymen and to you also.
Thank you.
And second thing, Ram has always been an emotional part of every Indian. I won't say Hindu here, I'll say every Indian. Hindu, of course, but Ram has been an integral part of every Indian. And today, on the occasion of Vijayadashmi, Mohan Bhagwat, or for that matter Prime Minister Modi, if they won't speak of Ram, then what they'll speak of? Are they going to speak about Rome? No, obviously they'll speak about Ram. So that's what they did. And as far as the caste politics goes and the caste census goes, well, let me remind you, here you are talking to a leader who represents the EBC of this country. Extreme backward and backward class of country is being represented by none other than Mr. Prime Minister Modi, who himself belongs to the same caste. So we are not afraid of that caste census politics and all. Today what is we are concerned with, that how India is going to progress further. And that's what was the main vision in the whole speech when the Prime Minister reminded country and requested the country to take those 10 oaths, what we need to do on this Vijayadashmi. Second thing, Ram has always been an integral part of the BJP motto. Ram Mandir is a one emotive issue through which all the Bharatiya Janata Party cadre, worker, leader, everybody is inclined to, and we are not ashamed of it. It has always been in our part, it has always been in our manifesto, it has always been in our doings. So Ram Mandir, whether elections or no elections, it's always there.
Yeah,
so there is nothing like opposition is coming and playing with the caste census, and we are going to don with Ram Mandir.
So you're saying Ram Mandir is not, you're saying Ram Mandir is not a response?
It's our turf.
Okay, you're saying Ram Mandir is not a response to the caste census politics being played by the opposition. But Mohan Kumar Mangalam, we want to respond. The BJP says, look, Ram is an emotive issue for us. We played, we are not apologetic about it. We have a Ram Mandir that will come up on the 22nd of January. A date has been given by Mohan Bhagwat. And therefore, this is part of our political agenda. That's what the Prime Minister and Mohan Bhagwat seem to be suggesting.
But Rajdeep, it's always been part of their agenda. So that's one place where I would say that I found Mr. Bhagwat's speech to be consistent with their view, their worldview of cultural nationalism and how India is and the idea of India. So if you look at, I found parts of his speech to be consistent with his ideology, part to be frankly contradictory. and part to be actually scary. And let me break that up into three different pieces and tell you. The consistent part is, he started off his speech talking about India's growing stature on the world stage, about how G20 was great and how we won so many medals in the Asian Games. And then he transitions that immediately to saying that that's because we have a shared ideal, and that ideal is manifested in Lord Ram. So, there is his base of cultural nationalism coming in. That was consistent. What I found worrisome about his speech was his reference to what he terms wokeism or cultural Marxism. Now, that actually is the language of the extreme hard right in the Western world. Cultural Marxism was a term that was actually used by Anders Breivik, the Norwegian terrorist who shot 77 people in cold blood, in his manifesto. It is a term that's used to oppose all progressive movements across the world that encompass movements for social justice, movements against racism, movements against discrimination. So I'm really wondering why Mr. Bhagwat has taken such a hard sort of Nazi-style approach towards this term, as well towards wokeism. Wokeism comes from the African-American vernacular, where it's about being awake and someone who's arisen to the social discrimination around them. Maybe, at that point I thought, okay, this is inconsistent, but, his organization is based in religion, which perpetuates beliefs, whereas challenging beliefs, which is what wokeism is about. The third part of his speech is really one where he hints about being against the caste census, because he goes into this sort of diatribe about victimhood and how being a victim is bad, and that, when the country is growing, everybody wants a piece of the pie, but people need to have blind faith in the fact that they will at some point get their piece of pie and not try to grab it by any which way, which I think he means is that you shouldn't ask for more representation than you have right now, which is what the whole goal of the caste census is to begin with, is to have representation in positions of power in government, in the executive. So I think that was a nod to against the caste census. Finally, he spoke a lot. He spoke extensively about unity and diversity. He spoke about promoting brotherhood. He spoke about all these things. Maybe in a way there was a knock against his own party, the BJP, because there's anyone who plays divisive politics, it is the BJP, right from the Prime Minister saying that I can tell criminals by their clothes, to the BJP's Prime Minister in waiting, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, saying that he doesn't need the 20% vote, he's happy with the 80% vote. So maybe there is actually some sort of admonishment of his own party there in that,
right,
in that diatribe about unity and diversity.
Can I just, you've given your assessment of Mohan Bhagwat's speech. What is a theme though is this constant search for an enemy, Dr. Ajay Alok. Cultural Marxists, leftists, those who are seen to be dividing on the basis, who he claims are dividing on the basis of caste. Even Manipur, he blames on foreign forces that are responsible for the violence in Manipur. This constant search for an enemy. Instead of identifying what has gone wrong with our own governance, perhaps in Manipur, for example, why always look for the, suggest that someone out there is an external threat who's threatening this country? Surely our country's nationalism is strong enough, and we should be addressing the issues of Manipur rather than looking at the external threat. This seems to be also a recurrent theme at the moment.
Can you guarantee, Rajdeep, that there is no external threat to the country on your show?
Can you guarantee that there is? Can you guarantee that there has been no failure of governance? Can you guarantee me that there has been no failure of governance?
When I ask you a question, I expect an answer, not a counter question.
No, why not? I'm countering my question that whenever there is an absence of, whenever things go wrong, you blame an external force. That's my question.
I'm coming to Manipur. Don't be impatient.
Yes.
Yes, don't be impatient. When you have asked me a question, I'm supposed to answer that.
Please
and I'm also supposed to answer my Congress friend's answer.
Yes.
Now he said nationalism, cultural nationalism, and then he took out that extreme Nazis mentality and all, that you have to just destroy your enemy and all this. Sir, that is called as extreme nationalism. There is nothing extreme nationalism in India, whether it is in RSS or BJP. Neither extreme nationalism or nothing. It's only nationalism which we are proud of, number one. Secondly, you said about wokeism and left Maoist and what. So do you support the Maoist ideology? You or Rajdeep? Do you support Maoists in this country? Should they exist in the name of diversity?
Dr. Alok, I hate to
exist in the name of
diversity.
Let me complete, then you can answer.
No, Dr. Alok says you cannot compare Maoism to what is...
Let me complete, then you can answer me.
No, let him complete and then I'll let you respond.
Then you can answer
Mohan
me.
Kumar Mangalam, I'll let you respond. Complete, Ajay.
Listen. So, do you support the Marxist ideology if it exists in this country? Do you support the ultra-leftist ideology, what has been followed by China? Do you support that to be existed in the country in the name of diversity? Do you support the extremist ideology followed by Islamic radicals, or for that matter, Khalistani radicals, what is being supported in this country at many times by your own party? When you support, I repeat, when you support Muslim League in Kerala, and Rahul Gandhi said that it's a secular party, whether this kind of ideology can be promoted in this country? No. I'm sorry, my dear friend, in the name of diversity, this kind of ideology cannot be supported, cannot be propagated, and the one who does it, they are the divisive forces. And that's what Mr. Mohan Bhagwat was referring to. And if that irks you, that's not our problem. Okay. That's not the India's problem. That's your problem.
Let Mohan Kumar Mangalam.
Do you support this ideology that will
Dr.
criticize?
Alok, hold a second. Now let me talk. I'll help you out. Dr. Alok, you know what the problem is? The problem is that you people have forgotten that the sharpest weapon is the mind. Maybe you should have sharpened your mind instead of actually taking time to go and pray to physical weapons today. Now, ultra-left ideologies have nothing to do with what the ultra-hard right in Western countries today, whether that be Europe or America, have referred to as cultural Marxism. It has nothing to do with it. Please go and educate yourself on what this movement is about, what wokeism is about, before you use those terms in a completely incorrect fashion. I'm assuming you are not educated on them versus being completely disingenuous in the way you're explaining them. So first of all, do you endorse what Anders Breivik referred to as cultural? Do you know, first of all, the Norwegian terrorist that I referred to, why he actually gunned down 77 people? He was against multiculturalism in Europe. He was against multiculturalism that Mr. Bhagwat spoke about extensively today in his speech. So either Mr. Bhagwat doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm sure that you certainly don't know what you're talking about when you're criticizing wokeism as well as cultural Marxism, as it's referred to by the right.
No, so Mohan Kumar Mangalam, are you suggesting that Mohan Bhagwat, when he talks of unity, he's talking of unity of a particular culture, a particular religion? When he singles out, as you said, cultural Marxists, Mohan Kumar Mangalam, are you saying that he's singling out a particular group with a particular mindset? How do you see it? Are you saying that it is Mohan Bhagwat who's dividing? Are you saying it is Mohan Bhagwat who's dividing society?
Now, I think this goes without saying. Listen, let me, for example, for a minute, let me give Mohan Bhagwat the benefit of doubt. And let me just say that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because if he spent a large proportion of his speech talking about unity in all society, and I mean minorities included, which his party has known to disparage every chance they get, then I would say that he has no idea what cultural Marxism is or what wokeism is. And therefore, he has referred to it incorrectly in his passion for finding a bogey, for finding a foreign enemy, for finding something he could refer to, some set of people that he can isolate and other, so as to point his flock towards a common enemy. This is essentially their modus operandi to begin with. They will never be able to finish a speech without pointing to either a sort of invisible enemy, as he has done with Manipur, some foreign force, he says, and or someone within the country who they can isolate for their vote bank politics.
So, who at the, in a way, Ajay Alok, one finds that one of the battles for 2024 is contrasting views of what is vote bank politics. The Mohan Kumar Mangalam view presumably would be that the BJP is playing to a Hindu vote bank. From Mr. Bhagwat's speech and the Prime Minister's speech, one gets a sense that the opposition is being accused of playing caste-based vote bank politics, that you're dividing the country on the basis of caste by pushing for a caste census. A caste survey was done in your home state of Bihar. It almost seems that the template for 2024 is being set as caste versus religious identity. That's the political template. Both sides playing their own version of vote bank politics, each one looking for an enemy outside.
First of all, Rajdeep, let me tell you and Mr. Mohan Kumar Mangalam that you don't understand India by the prism of Europe and Central Europe and Norway. Extreme nationalism or extreme right is a concept, might be a concept in America or Europe. It's not a concept in India. It has never been. Had India been extreme right, there wouldn't have been secularism, so-called secularism, what you say all the time. So if you have to understand India, please see according to the optics of India. And thanks to your intellectual bankruptcy, you don't understand what Mohan Bhagwat is speaking about. Now coming to the caste thing. They are trying to fiddle out, that's what I'm saying. कि जिसके दिमाग में मंडल हो और दिल में कमंडल हो उससे नहीं लड़ते हैं. The one who has mandal in his brains and kamandal in his heart, you cannot fight with him. Okay, so forget about that plank that you can play this mandal 2 and mandal 3. Keep on doing it. The champion is sitting on the other side of yours. Now you don't understand India. You are trying to do bifurcation politics all the time. Like this is the third debate I'm participating in. Every Congress spokesperson is speaking about 80-20. What is this 80-20 here?
No, but you spoke.
I mean,
no,
we are the party who starts with minus 20 and then we are in
80-20.
And then we are in majority.
1 minute. It was Yogi Adityanath ahead of the 2021 election who spoke of 80-20.
When Yogi Adityanath, Rajdeep, listen to me, when Yogi Adityanath said 80-20, it was on the result mandate of 2017. When BJP on its own and NDA secured 354 out of 404. That was 80-20, not on the votes.
Isn't it true? Is it a coincidence? No, Mr. Dr. Ajay, isn't it a coincidence? Isn't it a coincidence that 80% are the majority community Hindus and 20% are Muslims? Are you telling me he was not referring to Hindu-Muslim? Are you telling me he was not referring to Hindu-Muslim?
Let me complete one line.
No, are you telling me he was not? Just a minute.
Listen to me.
Answer my question.
Yeah. Yes.
Was he referring to Hindu-Muslim when he spoke of 80-20?
He was referring to... No. No, he was not. He was referring to the mandate the BJP and NDA got in 2017.
Okay.
Now, even if it is Hindu-Muslim, let's take it for that. I'll just clear your doubts. Even if it is Hindu-Muslim. So, how does it make a difference to us? We are the one party who starts with minus 20. And still we get the majority.
No, but then you're playing your own version of vote bank politics.
Opposition.
Then you're playing your own version of vote bank politics.
Keep on talking 80-20. That acts to our advantage. No, that acts to our advantage because they are in a habit of vote bank politics.
Okay.
We are not in a habit of vote bank politics. We are in a habit of country bank politics.
Okay, let
we will pursue country bank politics.
Okay, you're on to country bank politics. That's a new word you've used. Let me turn to you, Mohan Kumara Mangalam. On the other side, the opposition, and this has been one of the slogans that Rahul Gandhi has been using, Jitni Sankhya ya Jiski Sankhya Utna Hak. On the basis of my population, I will get representation. That will also be seen as a way of dividing society.
Rajdeep, if I were to take that cue, then Baba Sahib Ambedkar was the most divisive figure in our polity. He's the one who actually championed rights for Dalits, for reservation for Dalits in our constitution. We're talking about reservation in government jobs and positions of power in the executive for OBCs. Would you call that divisive? I would call that accurate representation. You could take any representation as divisive by that argument. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all.
No, my limited point is the template Mohan Kumara Mangalam being set for 2024, and what we saw today is a reflection of what's going to happen in the next 6 months. The BJP will talk about a unified Hindu constituency, and the Congress and the opposition wants to talk about what they believe are the fault lines that exist on the basis of caste that you believe deserve greater representation. That's going to be the dividing line.
I don't think it will be caste versus religion. I think the country is facing numerous challenges on many fronts. We've been talking about unemployment, we've been talking about inflation, we've been talking about income inequality ad nauseum. And these are some of the biggest issues that are facing us today. So I think in addition to this, we will bring up the issue of representation. And I think primarily because the BJP's ideology does not allow them to take a clear stand on this. Most of their answers have been wishy-washy, referring to the Prime Minister as no BC, so he knows. They are unable to articulate a clear position on this. And I think that's also one of the reasons why we are being so clear about why we want that.
Okay, let me leave it there. I've heard two stark viewpoints on this on this Dussehra day. I wish both of you once again a happy Dussehra. And I hope that you will follow what Mohan Bhagwat said, that we will have debates, but they will not be acrimonious and divisive in the future. Each party will have a chance to reach out to the voter. Dr. Ajay Alok, Mohan Kumara Mangalam, appreciate you joining me here on my top talking point.